What's up, everyone? Well, I have to say, GV is the Canadian gift that keeps on giving. 3 days of action. So this morning, GV put out sort of a surprise headline. I wasn't expecting it. I don't think anyone was expecting it. But usually when you have a stock that puts out news and then the stock goes up for a couple days, to be honest, you're kind of expecting news of like an offering. They're going to be selling shares on the market and this is the price. And so that's why a lot of people will short these stocks that made a big move, hoping that in a few days they have that offering and they kind of drift back lower. That's very typical. But here in the case of GV, it squeezed up. Yesterday, it moved pre-market and then kind of pulled back as the day went on. And then all of a sudden this morning, 9 a.m., breaking news comes out and boom, the stock squeezes up 80%. And just like that, we're on day 3 of continuation. This is now up well over 600%, maybe 700% in the last 3 sessions. It's incredible. So this was the stock that gave me my daily goal. So I'm sitting here in the green, feeling pretty good, and coming to the end of the week. Now, I will say this has been a relatively slow week, and some traders who are newer, they're like, Ross, is this normal? What is it? What's going on? So what I'll tell you is that the market is very cyclical. We have hot cycles and we have cold cycles. And typically what happens towards the end of a hot cycle is you have a couple stocks that just give you big rejections. I mean, they just sell off all day long. They're just really difficult to trade. And some long bias traders get burned. And some short sellers start to realize, wow, it feels like momentum is shifting a little. Sentiment is shifting. And so on the next stock that pops up, the short sellers are a little more aggressive and the longs are a little more conservative. And that becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy because there's not as much buying, there's a little bit more selling, and that imbalance between supply and demand shifts a little bit. So then the move isn't quite as big. And then that happens again on the next stock and again and again and again until all of a sudden the long traders are just not feeling comfortable jumping in anything. And the shorts are hammering everything that pops up even just a tiny bit. And then what happens? A stock pops up a tiny bit, the shorts hammer it, and then it goes up a little bit more. And now they start covering and the longs start jumping in and it goes up a little more and a little more and a little more. And all of a sudden we've got stock up 500% in one day. And just like that, the tide shifts rapidly and control is back in the hands of the bulls. So I would say that right now we've been in this kind of place where we had some really strong momentum, through the month of January and February. And this first week of March definitely felt a little softer, a little cooler. We had some action, but nothing that was like really insane. So shorts probably have been a little bit more aggressive these past few trading days. Now, my P&L here for the week so far, not including today, so 12,000 Monday, 21,000 Tuesday, Wednesday only 1,600, Thursday 8,200, and Friday here today in the green 6,500. So finishing around 50,000 on the week. My goal was 100 grand for the week, so I came up pretty shy of that goal. But you know what? If you look at February, there were weeks where I was way above the 100K goal, and then there was a week where I was well below it. So, you take what you can get. Is this the slowest week I've had of the year? No, it's not, but it is pretty slow. It's been slow, so there's no question about it. But it's just like this week in January, I had it was like 5 slow days in a row. And I sort of realized, well, you know what? It actually kind of started here with this market holiday. I think this was the Jimmy Carter Memorial Day or whatever. And then, anyway, so, we kind of had this little stretch here and it was slow. And I kind of had 2 choices. I can either take my foot off the gas and be patient, or I can be stubborn and keep my foot floored to floored. And what's probably going to happen is I'm going to be way too aggressive. I'm going to take unnecessary losses. I'm going to get smoked. And I see that happen to a lot of traders. So if you're one of those traders that has a hard time taking your foot off the gas, I feel that because that's exactly how I was for a long, long time. And I'm only, I still have a problem with it, but I've gotten better at it. I think for me, the bear market of 2022, 2023 kind of broke me down where I just kept hitting my head against the wall so many times where I was like, you know what, I'm just giving up. I'm just going to focus on small base hits because I cannot keep having these big losses. And it gave me a real appreciation for base hits and helped me have that perspective that $5,000, $6,000 days, while they're not quote, big green days for me, these are solid days and they add up, and they are so much better than having red days. Small green days, infinitely better than red days. So this morning I sat down, 6:45, no trades at the top of the hour at 7 a.m., no trades at 7:30, no trades at 8, no trades at 8:30, no trades until 9. Now, I will say that a lot of companies are a bit strategic about when they put out news. They're more likely to put out news when the market is hot, hoping that traders see the news headlines and jump on it. And they're a little more cautious about putting out headlines when the market's a little colder. They kind of save it for when things get hotter. Now, certain things they can't delay on, but there are other headlines that seem very strategically kind of placed at just the right timing. And so it didn't surprise me that here on a Friday, and look at this halting down now, here on a Friday, going into the weekend, on a week that's been relatively slow, that we might not see great price action. That didn't surprise me entirely today. And that companies might not be as inclined to put out news. But GV was the exception, and they put out that breaking news headline. So let's jump onto the 10-second chart. So on the 10-second chart, the first trade right here, it pops up. We get a nice squeeze here from 390 all the way up to 5, all the way up to 525. First trade, I jumped in right in here for the break of 5. That was a $0.5 whole dollar breakout. Second trade, buying this pullback right here, profit. Then buying right here for this quick breakout with profit. Dip trades, buying dips, taking profit, and then through this area, kind of sitting tight and watching the 1 minute chart. I think that was on the 10-second chart. So watching the 1 minute chart, which was a little extended. We came up to the $0.5 of 550. There was a 40,000 share seller sitting on the ask. So with that big seller sitting on the ask, I didn't buy right here. I said, nope, I can't trust that. And I didn't buy right here. I said, nope, can't trust that. So now I've got to wait a second. So in these first 4 or 5 candles, I made about $1,800. The strategy that I used to make that money is called the micro pullback strategy. The micro pullback. You know what I'll do? I will put a link. I'll pin it to the top comments and it's in the description where you can download my micro pullback strategy. It's a PDF that's going to walk you through exactly how I trade that setup, because that's the setup that gave me the profit today. Micro pullback on GV. Then it ends up pushing a little bit higher. It comes back up right here. And initially I was hesitant to buy at the $0.5. Why? Well, because of the big seller that was there before. So I didn't buy there. And then I said, well, wait a second, where's the nearby resistance? So I start pulling up my chart, and hang on one second, my computer's glitching out a little bit. I've been running, because I've been doing all these broker platform demos, I've been running like so many things, it's unbelievable. So anyways, I'm going to close down Thinkorswim here. I don't need that right now. That one, Thinkorswim can be a little bit of a hog on the machine. It really takes a lot of bandwidth to run it. All right, so anyway, so backing this up. So on the 5-minute chart, I noticed, of course, yesterday's high was 715. So I was like, 715, I got to draw a line there, because we kind of hit that, tapped it once, tapped it twice almost, and then sold off. And then right in here, I was like, this is probably a significant spot, because we sort of sold off, we bounced up, and then we went lower. So the top of that level right there might be resistance. So when we came up to here, I was sort of thinking about that 580 level. So back on the 1-minute chart, or maybe on the 10-second chart, what ended up happening was it kind of comes up to that level. And as it approached that level, I thought to myself, and let me just zoom in on this. So where was this? So right here, as it comes up to this level at 580, I sort of thought to myself, I don't know if I can buy right here. I'm a little bit concerned that this is too close to that resistance level. So I held off, I waited, and unfortunately, that ended up being a little bit of a mistake because it ripped right to 6. So this is what I did. It pops up to 6, so we're going to go forward here. Let's see, we're going to go this way. All right, so it pops here pretty quickly up from 38 up to 67, up to 70, up to 75, up to 95, and I bought right here this micro pullback for the breakthrough 6. So we get a break of 6 right there. And then as we break through 6, after we broke over 6, we got the squeeze a little bit higher. So let me back this up. Sorry, my charts are, I'm just kind of trying to get this oriented. So we squeeze up to a high of 623. But I actually took my biggest position of the day right in this candle because I was looking for that extension. I thought we were about to go parabolic. I mean, the way I was looking at it was this thing was strong. I thought we were about to pull away. I was like, all right, here we go. It's game time. And so it really surprised me when right up against that level, it stalled out. So it ended up stalling out at about 625. So we come up to that 625 level and it's not able to break. It hits a high of like 620, 623. It pulls back. I don't buy this breakout right here. And you know what I actually did? Members at Warrior Trading, you'll be able, if you'd like, oh, why isn't this? I've got to grab it from this file. So I uploaded the live trading archive from this trade for you guys. So you'll be able to rewatch this later today if you want. So this will be something you guys can watch. So anyways, what ended up happening on this right in this area, we'll back this up, kind of like right in here, was right there. We had a topping tail right there. And then we had another topping tail and another topping tail. And so I was like, I just don't think this is going to work. And then all of a sudden it pushes up and I was like, nope, I'm going to hold my hands. I'm afraid of a false breakout. And it ends up pushing higher and then rejecting. So those topping tail candles right there, really, it's really important to pay attention to that. Yes, it had nice volume. The profile of the volume was great. There was no issue there. But the problem was it just kept popping and then pulling back. There were sellers. So I didn't take that false breakout there. And then this is what I did. At the opening bell, I expected that we would see selling. I just sort of thought that we would see a flush. And the reason I thought that was because, the stock is extended. And I was like, I just think it's already made this big move. I don't know if it's going to work. And I'm also thinking that you've got people that were holding yesterday that might be underwater on this stock, bag holders. So they're sitting holding and they might have an order. Think about this. Some people trade on their phones, right? They saw a stock moving up. Robinhood sent them the notification. They're like, oh, I'll just buy it. They bought 1,000 shares, whatever. Now they're down a couple $1,000. And they're like, well, shoot, I guess I'll just put the sell order at 550, get out break even. And they put their phone away. They're at work doing stuff. That order doesn't execute until the market opens. So now I'm wondering at 9:30, are we going to have a lot of people that have sell orders just to bail break even maybe because they were bag holders? So at the 9:30 opening bell, I said to myself, wait just a second and give this a chance to see if there's a big flush. And it dipped down to 6, but it didn't break. So after I gave it the chance to break and it didn't, I bought right here at 609. So now I'm in right there 609, and that's where I had a really nice trade. Up to 640, up to 650, up to 670. It pulls back right here, and then look at topping tail again. So now I'm like, gosh, I don't know. Can I trust this? And look at this move right there, all the way up to 715. So I was still holding a quarter position at 715 going into the halt. I took the profit, actually got a nice exit up around $8 on the resumption. And then I didn't trade it through this area because I just didn't want to push my luck. I said, you know what? It's Friday. I don't want to overstay my welcome. I'm going to get green. I'm going to be grateful, and I'm going to be out of here. And that is so important. Learn to walk away. Take your profit. It doesn't matter how much other people make. It doesn't matter how much the stock goes. You made a little money today. You did an awesome job. Let's do it again on Monday. So I want to make sure you guys download that micro pullback strategy PDF. If you want a book to listen to over the weekend, do a little audiobook. This is a book that you might enjoy. It's called Quit by Annie Duke, The Power of Knowing When to Walk Away. That's relevant when it comes to trading. So I hope you guys check that out. And I'll remind you as always, look, trading is risky. My results aren't typical. I've been doing this for a long time. So manage your risk and always practice a simulator before putting real money on the line. All right, thanks for tuning in. And I'll put a link to one of my recent uploads right here that I think you guys might enjoy.